You're poor because nobody told you this.
What if I told you that the secret to building life-changing wealth isn't about luck, chasing trends, or earning a massive income? Instead, it's about following proven, timeless strategies. Imagine learning from the greatest investor of all time, Warren Buffett, the man who turned just $100 into billions. How did he do it? And, more importantly, how can you apply these lessons to secure your financial future? Stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap to start building wealth like a pro. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more tips on investing, personal finance, and wealth building strategies. And let me know in the comments, what's your biggest financial goal right now? Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Start early and let compounding work its magic. Here's a powerful truth Warren Buffett lives by: the earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow. He says, the best time to start investing was yesterday. The second best time is today. Why? Because of the magic of compounding, your money earns returns, and then those returns start earning returns. Let me paint you a picture. Say you invest $10,000 at a 10% annual return. In 10 years, it grows to $25,995. The secret? Time. The longer you invest, the more your money grows. But here's the kicker. Compounding doesn't just apply to money, it works for skills, habits, and relationships too. Practicing a skill daily for years doesn't just make you good, it makes you exceptional. Buffett knew this early on and used it to master not just his finances, but his entire life. Now, here's your first challenge. Think about one financial habit or skill you can start today and commit to it. And remember, consistency is key. Lesson 2. Live below your means. Here's something surprising about Warren Buffett. Despite being worth billions, he still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. No yachts, no private islands, just a simple, intentional lifestyle. Why? Because wealth isn't about looking rich, it's about having the freedom to do what you love without financial stress. Every dollar you spend today is a dollar that could grow for your future. Buffett's philosophy is clear: save and invest the difference, instead of splurging on unnecessary luxuries. Think about this. Living below your means doesn't mean deprivation. It's about making smart choices. For example, cutting back on non-essentials could give you the financial freedom to quit a stressful job, travel, or start your dream business. Here's a quick tip. Identify one expense you can cut back on this month and redirect that money into savings or investments. Let me know in the comments what you're cutting back on. Lesson 3. Invest in yourself. If there's one investment Warren Buffett values above all else, it's this: investing in yourself. He famously said, the more you learn, the more you earn. Whether it's improving your skills, gaining knowledge, or building meaningful connections, nothing pays higher returns than self-improvement. Buffett spends about 80% of his day reading books, annual reports, newspapers, you name it. Why? Because knowledge compounds. The more you know, the better decisions you can make. But here's the thing. Investing in yourself doesn't have to break the bank. Libraries, online courses, and mentorships are often free or affordable. Buffett himself took a public speaking course by Dale Carnegie, and it completely transformed his confidence and communication skills, both essential for closing billion-dollar deals. Now, ask yourself, when was the last time you invested in your growth? Whether it's reading a book, taking a course, or improving your health, start today. Drop a comment below with your next self-improvement goal. Lesson 4. Protect your money and learn from mistakes.
The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule, and that's all the rules there are.
One of Buffett's most famous rules is simple. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. This doesn't mean avoiding risks altogether. It means being smart and cautious with your investments. Buffett doesn't gamble on flashy trends or high-risk schemes. Instead, he invests in strong, reliable companies that grow over time. And when he makes mistakes, because no one is perfect, he owns up to them, learn. Now, let's make it personal. Have you ever made a financial mistake that taught you a valuable lesson? Share it below. Your story might help someone else. Lesson 5. Wealth is a mindset. For Buffett, wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom, purpose, and building something meaningful. He doesn't worry about what others think or chase short-term gains. Instead, he focuses on the big picture. When Buffett buys a stock, he's not thinking about next week or next year. He's thinking about where that company will be 10, 20, even 50 years from now. That's the mindset that separates successful investors from the rest. Buffett also values integrity, saying it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. That principle shapes every decision he makes, both in business and life. Here's your takeaway. Start thinking long-term. Wealth isn't just about numbers, it's about creating a life that aligns with your values. Lesson 6. Avoid debt. Buffett has a golden rule. Avoid debt. He's seen too many people, even high earners, get trapped in a cycle of credit card debt, car loans, and expensive mortgages. Every dollar spent on interest is a dollar that could have been invested. Buffett advises paying off high-interest debt as quickly as possible and avoiding unnecessary loans. But it's not just financial debt you should avoid. Buffett also says no to time debt, committing to things that don't align with your goals. By saying no to distractions, he stays focused on what truly matters. Here's a practical step. If you have high-interest debt, start by paying off the smallest balance first to build momentum. Warren Buffett's strategies are simple, timeless, and proven to work, but the key isn't just knowing them, it's taking action. Start early, live below your means, invest in yourself, protect your money, adopt a wealth mindset, and avoid debt. Remember, building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. The small actions you take today will compound into massive results over time. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on investing and financial growth. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these lessons and let me know in the comments which of these tips you'll start applying today. Let's build wealth together, one smart decision at a time. See you in the next video. Just last week, a Chinese company called DeepSeek made history by releasing the open-source R1 model, and it has completely shaken up the AI industry. Why? Because R1 isn't just good, it's better than some of the most expensive AI models out there. It even beats OpenAI's $200 per month GPT-4 Turbo, as well as Claude Sonnet and Gemini on key benchmarks. But that's not all. DeepSeek R1 has passed what many people call the vibe test, meaning real users find it genuinely useful, smart, and capable. It's also impressive at math, even though OpenAI's models have had access to training data ahead of time. The rise of DeepSeek R1 has caught the attention of millions over the past few days, turning it into the #1 app in America practically overnight. This is a huge problem for big tech. Why big tech is panicking? For years, companies like OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic have told us that building advanced AI models requires billions of dollars, massive computing power, and thousands of NVIDIA GPUs, but DeepSeek just proved them wrong. Their R1 model was created as a side project by a hedge fund, and it cost less than $10 million to build. Now, Wall Street is terrified, and NVIDIA's stock price is crashing. Why? Because NVIDIA has been the biggest winner in the AI boom, selling GPUs for AI training. But if AI can be built and run without expensive GPUs, NVIDIA's profits could collapse. And guess what? That's exactly what's happening. The stock market has wiped out nearly $1 trillion in value, and NVIDIA is one of the biggest losers, along with companies like Taiwan Semiconductor and Broadcom. OpenAI tries to fight back. To stay competitive, OpenAI has made some big moves. They just released a cheaper AI model called GPT-4 Mini for free users. They also launched something called Operator, a new AI tool that can browse the internet, click buttons, and fill out forms. In the future, you could even have ChatGPT handle your online tasks like attending an online course for you. Sounds cool, right? The problem? It's only available to users paying for OpenAI's $200 per month plan, so most people won't have access to it. Meanwhile, China is still winning. Not only did they release DeepSeek R1, but they also launched Hunyuan 3D, a groundbreaking tool that can generate 3D models and textures, a huge breakthrough for creators and game developers. How this changes AI forever. The craziest part, DeepSeek was just a side project. It wasn't built by a $1 trillion company, it was made by a small team with a relatively low budget. Tech investors are now freaking out because AI is no longer a closed system controlled by big corporations. If people can run powerful AI models on consumer hardware instead of expensive cloud servers, how will companies like OpenAI, Google, and Nvidia keep making billions? Some are calling this moment AI's Sputnik event, just like when the Soviet Union launched the first satellite in 1957, shocking the world. Back then, it took the US over a decade to catch up with the space race. The same thing could be happening now in AI, but this time China is leading. What's next for AI? While AI has dominated the tech world for the last few years, we could be moving toward the next wave of breakthroughs. Brain chips, quantum computing, artificial meat printers, nanorobots, digital resurrection technology. The future is coming fast, and it's clear that AI is only the beginning. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on AI and the future of technology and investing. See you in the next video.
How to start investing in 2025 for beginners. Investing with just $100 might sound like a small amount, but it's actually a great way to start building your wealth. In this video, I'll show you 5 different ways you can start investing online with just $100, whether you're looking to grow your money or get a taste of how investing works. These options can help you get started on the right foot. 1. Investing on individual stocks. When you invest in individual stocks, you're buying a small piece of a company. Think of it like owning a tiny part of a business. For example, if you buy stock in a company like Tesla or Coca-Cola, you're buying a share of that company's ownership. If the company grows and does well, the value of your stock can increase, meaning you can sell it for more than you paid. However, stocks can also lose value if the company struggles or if the stock market drops, so it's important to know that it comes with some risk. With $100, you could buy shares in several companies. Just remember, you don't need to buy a whole share if the stock is expensive. Some platforms allow you to buy fractional shares, which means you can own a piece of the stock even if you don't have enough money for a full share. 2. Real estate investment trusts. REITs, real estate investment trusts, are a way to invest in real estate without having to actually buy property. Normally, buying a house or building can cost a lot of money, but with REITs you can invest in real estate projects through companies that own and manage properties like apartment buildings, shopping malls, or hotels. These companies pay you a portion of the profits from the rent they collect. REITs are generally safer than individual stocks because they focus on real estate, which tends to be more stable. However, like any investment, they still have risks. For example, if a property loses value or the real estate market slows down, your investment could lose value too. But for just $100, REITs give you a chance to invest in real estate without needing to spend thousands. 3. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, is a type of digital money. It's similar to cash, but it exists only online, and its value can go up or down very quickly. Many people invest in cryptocurrency hoping its value will rise, like when Bitcoin went from just a few dollars to thousands of dollars over time. With $100, you can buy a small amount of cryptocurrency. However, cryptocurrencies can be highly volatile, meaning their prices can change dramatically in a short period. For example, Bitcoin's price might jump by thousands of dollars in a day, or it might drop just as quickly. If you choose to invest in crypto, it's important to understand the risks, but it also has the potential for high rewards if the value goes up. 4. Gold. Gold is a long-time favorite of investors because it's a safe investment. Over centuries, gold has kept its value, making it a good option for people who want to protect their money from inflation or economic downturns. Unlike stocks, the price of gold doesn't change as much in the short term, but it has increased in value over time. With $100, you can either buy actual gold like coins or jewelry, or you can invest in gold-backed funds that track the price of gold. Gold is usually seen as a safe place to store wealth, but it doesn't grow as fast as other investments. like stocks or cryptocurrency. Still, if you want something that can protect your wealth over time, gold is a solid choice. 5. Index funds. Index funds are a great way to invest in the stock market without taking too much risk. Instead of picking just one company to invest in, you're buying a small piece of many different companies at once. For example, an index fund might track the S&P 500, which includes the 500 biggest companies in the US, like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. This means your money is spread across many companies, reducing the risk that one poor-performing company could hurt your investment. Over time, index funds have proven to grow steadily, which makes them a good choice if you want to build your wealth slowly and steadily. With just $100, you can invest in index funds that track these big companies. While it's not as fast as investing in a single stock, it's a safer option and is good for long-term growth. Starting to invest with just $100 is totally possible, and there are many ways you can do it. Whether it's individual stocks, REITs, cryptocurrency, gold, or index funds, you can choose the best investment that matches your goals and risk level. Remember, it's important to do your research and understand the risks of each option. So which one would you try first? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more easy investment tips. Happy investing! I got rich when I understood this. Warren Buffett.
When I was 11, I started picking stocks, but I had the wrong approach. I was fascinated by the stock market and focused on tracking which stocks went up or down. I even studied technical analysis, reading books like Edwards and McGee. I thought the key was predicting stock prices and market movements for about 8 years. That's how I operated. Then, when I was 19 or 20, I read Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor. That book completely changed my perspective. I realized I had been looking at investing the wrong way. Instead of focusing on stock price movements, I began thinking of myself as a business owner. I started buying businesses that just happened to be publicly traded, and from then on, I didn't worry about whether their stock prices went up or down the next day, week, or even year. I didn't try to predict what the stock market would do. What mattered to me was understanding the businesses I was investing in. I'm not a genius, but I've spent my life deeply interested in this field. I surround myself with people who bring out the best in me, and I focus on playing a game where I know I can win. Here's the thing, you don't need to be a genius to succeed in investing. An IQ of 120 is enough. In fact, being too smart, say with an IQ of 170, might even work against you. What you really need is the right mindset. Most people think of stocks as things that should go up quickly, and they panic when prices drop. I do the opposite. I focus on what a company will be worth in 10 or 20 years. In fact, I'm happier when stocks drop because it allows me to buy more shares at a lower price. It's the same logic as a farmer wanting farmland prices to drop so they can buy more land. When I started investing, I put my entire net worth into City Service preferred shares. That was back in March 1942. And since then, I've always kept at least 80% of my money invested in American businesses. I view stocks as pieces of real companies, not just ticker symbols. I don't need luxury items like multiple homes to be happy. I've found joy in focusing on what I love, investing in businesses. What truly brings me happiness is knowing that over time, the principles I follow will lead to success. Investing isn't about competing with others. It's about understanding what you're buying. I'm not buying stocks. I'm buying parts of businesses, and I'm always thinking about the long-term value they'll bring. Imagine there was no stock market and you had to buy businesses privately like farms or apartment buildings. That's how I view investing. It's about finding good opportunities for your money that will give you solid returns over time, not just in the short term. The United States economy is a great example of this long-term thinking. More people today are wealthier than at any time in history. Even the bottom percentiles of income live better than John D. Rockefeller did when I was a child. The advancements in medicine, education, entertainment, and transportation have been astounding. When I was a child, even the wealthiest person didn't have access to the conveniences we have today: big screen TVs, smartphones, advanced medical care, and more. The progress we've made is incredible, and it's a testament to the power of capitalism and innovation. This progress isn't just luck. It's the result of a system that encourages creativity, productivity, and improvement, even through tough times like the Civil War, Great Depression, and pandemics. Businesses, governments, and people have found ways to move forward. Capitalism works best when there's a balance between private enterprise and government regulation. The government sets the rules and businesses operate within them, creating incredible advancements in wealth over time. Just imagine if you told someone in 1789 about the world we live in today. They'd think you were crazy. Yet here we are, flying in airplanes, watching global events in real time, and benefiting from innovations that improve our quality of life every day. For me, the key to investing success is sticking to the fundamentals. That's why I recommend the S&P 500 index for most investors. It's simple, low cost, and effective. Don't overcomplicate it by trying to pick specific industries or countries. Most people don't know enough to do that successfully. The lesson is simple: focus on the long term, invest in solid businesses, and keep things straightforward. That's how you win in the game of investing.
7 Key Lessons from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, explains that making money is a skill, but it's not taught in schools. Schools only teach people how to become employees and build a career. If you come from a middle-class family like he does, there's a high chance your parents unknowingly taught you how to stay poor. This doesn't mean they don't love you or want you to succeed. It's simply because they don't know better. They followed outdated ideas about money and passed them down to you. Kiyosaki compares this to genetics. Poverty is passed on from generation to generation. He wishes he'd read Rich Dad Poor Dad as a teenager and strongly recommends reading it. Here, we'll explore the 7 key lessons he shares in the book. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. When Robert was 9, he and his friend Mike weren't invited to a classmate's beach house because they were poor. Angry and frustrated, Robert went home and asked his dad how to become rich. His dad, a teacher, told him to learn how to make more money. Even at that young age, Robert felt that this advice wasn't helpful. His dad, whom Robert calls his poor dad, earned a good salary but always struggled with money. Seeing how determined Robert and Mike were to learn about wealth, Poor Dad suggested they talk to Mike's father, whom Robert refers to as Rich Dad. At that time, Rich Dad wasn't wealthy yet and hadn't even finished 8th grade, but he owned and ran several small businesses. Robert and Mike were surprised, but they decided to meet Rich Dad. On the day of the meeting, Rich Dad asked them if they were serious about learning how to make money. They said yes. He made them an offer. He would teach them, but not through traditional lessons. Instead, they'd have to work for him to learn. He believed sitting and listening wouldn't help them. Real learning would happen through experience. He also told them to decide quickly because opportunities don't wait. Robert and Mike agreed to the offer. Rich Dad said he'd pay them 10 cents an hour for 3 hours every Saturday. Even though Robert had a softball game that day, he chose to work instead because he saw this as a big opportunity. They started working at a small grocery store managed by Mrs. Martin, one of Rich Dad's employees. Their job was to clean dust off canned goods and neatly stack them on shelves. It was dull work, and the store didn't have air conditioning, so they had to keep the doors open, letting in dust from the road. After 3 hours of work, They earned 30 cents, which wasn't much since comic books cost 10 cents each. After 3 weeks of this, Robert had had enough. He felt like a slave, working for such a small amount of money. He also hadn't seen Rich Dad since their first meeting. Frustrated, he told Mike he was quitting. Mike laughed and said his dad had expected this to happen. Mike explained that his dad had told him to bring Robert back when he was ready to quit. Robert reluctantly agreed to meet Rich Dad the next Saturday. His real dad, Poor Dad, advised him to demand a raise of at least 25 cents an hour and quit if Rich Dad refused. When Robert arrived, he had to wait 45 minutes to meet Rich Dad. This made him even angrier. When Rich Dad finally showed up, Robert accused him of breaking his promise to teach them and called him greedy for paying so little. Rich Dad listened calmly and then asked Robert if teaching meant giving lectures. Robert nodded. Rich Dad explained that life itself is the best teacher, but it doesn't always speak directly. Instead, it pushes you through challenges. How you respond to those challenges determines whether you learn or not. Most people let life push them around. They get angry and blame their job, boss, or spouse. Few people see life's pushes as opportunities to grow. Rich Dad told Robert that none of his 150 employees had ever asked him to teach them about money. They only cared about getting their paycheck. When Robert complained about earning so little, Rich Dad said that most people believe earning more money will solve their problems. But it doesn't. He wanted Robert to learn to make money work for him, not the other way around. Then Rich Dad did something surprising. He stopped paying Robert and Mike altogether. He told them if they really wanted to make money, they'd have to figure it out themselves. For 3 weeks, Robert and Mike worked for free, confused and unsure of what they were supposed to learn. Then Rich Dad took them for ice cream and asked if they'd figured it out yet. When they said no, he told them to look around at the people working hard for little money their whole lives, clinging to the illusion of job security. Rich Dad offered them a raise to 25 cents an hour, then $1, then $5. Each time, Robert was tempted but resisted. Rich Dad explained that most people are controlled by 2 emotions: fear of not having money and greed, the desire for more. These emotions trap people in what he called the rat race. To escape, Robert needed to think differently and not let his emotions control him. After this lesson, Robert and Mike started thinking creatively. They realized the grocery store threw away old comic books, so they collected them and opened a small comic book library. They charged kids 10 cents to read as many comics as they wanted. They even hired Mike's sister to manage it. The library earned them $9.50 a week while they paid Mike's sister $1. They had learned to make money work for them without having to work themselves. This was their first big lesson. Lesson 2. Financial literacy. Rich Dad taught Robert and Mike that if they wanted to be rich, they needed to understand the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. For example, renting out a house makes it an asset because it generates income, but owning a house you live in is a liability because of taxes and maintenance costs. Many people mistakenly think their home is an asset, which is why they struggle financially. Rich Dad explained that to get rich, they needed to focus on buying income-generating assets first, like investments or businesses. Wealth, according to Rich Dad, is measured by how long you can survive without working. If your assets generate enough income to cover your expenses, you are wealthy. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. Rich Dad explained that many people spend their lives working for someone else instead of building their own wealth. Your business should focus on growing your asset column, not just earning a paycheck. This doesn't mean starting a company. It can simply mean investing in real assets. For example, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, once told a group of students that his real business wasn't selling hamburgers, it was real estate. McDonald's owns some of the most valuable real estate in the world. Similarly, Robert invested his earnings into assets while working at Xerox, eventually building enough wealth to leave his job. Lesson 4: Taxes and Corporations. Rich Dad explained that taxes often hit the middle class harder than the rich. While taxes were initially designed to target the wealthy, they eventually expanded to include the middle class. The rich use corporations to avoid high taxes. A corporation is simply a legal structure that offers financial advantages, like lower tax rates. Understanding this structure is crucial to financial success. Lesson 5: The rich invest money. Kiyosaki believes that ideas can create money. For example, during a market downturn, he bought a house for $20,000 using $2,000 borrowed from a friend. He sold the house for $60,000, making $40,000 in profit within hours. This shows how financial intelligence allows you to see opportunities others miss. Markets change, but improving your financial IQ helps you view change as an opportunity rather than a threat. Lesson 6: Work to learn, not for money. A journalist once asked Robert how to become a best-selling author like him. He suggested she learn sales, but she was offended, thinking her writing skills were enough. Robert explained that being a best-selling author requires marketing skills, not just good writing. Rich Dad encouraged Robert to learn a variety of skills rather than specializing in one area. By doing this, Robert gained valuable experience in sales, marketing, and management. Lesson 7: Overcoming obstacles. Even financially smart people face challenges like fear, doubt, laziness, and bad habits. Everyone fears losing money, but successful people learn to manage that fear instead of letting it stop them. Doubt, negative thoughts, or advice from others often hold people back. Winners focus on opportunities instead of problems. Laziness. Replace "I can't afford it" with "How can I afford it?" This mindset encourages creative thinking. Bad habits. Rich Dad always paid himself first, even when money was tight. This forced him to find ways to cover other expenses, which built discipline. By following these lessons, Robert believes anyone can learn to make money work for them and break free from the cycle of working just for a paycheck. Here's why you're broke.
Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Wondering why your bank account never seems to grow no matter how hard you work? Let's face it, money's struggling, but here's the good news. Most financial problems come from habits and choices you can change. Today we're diving into the 8 biggest reasons people stay broke and how you can turn things around. Stick around until the end, because what you learn here could completely change your financial future. Number 1, lack of clear financial goals. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Do you know exactly what you want to achieve with your money? If not, that's a problem. Clear financial goals give you a roadmap for your future. Without them, you're just drifting. For example, if you want to pay off $10,000 of debt in 3 years, you now have a clear target to work toward. Want to double your income? Start by breaking that goal into actionable steps you can tackle today. Pro tip: write down where you want to be financially in the next year, 3 years, and 5 years, then map out how to get there. Number 2, no emergency fund. What would you do if your car broke down tomorrow or you had an unexpected medical bill? According to studies, 1/3 of Americans can't handle a $400 emergency. That's a recipe for disaster. Having an emergency fund isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Without it, you'll be forced to rely on credit cards or loans, which leads to high-interest debt that's hard to escape. Pro tip: start small. Save $20 a week. It adds up faster than you think. Number 3, no budget equals no control. Let me guess, you've gotten paid, spent some money, and then suddenly, poof, the money's gone and you're left wondering where it went. Sound familiar? That's what happens when you don't have a budget. Without one, it's impossible to keep track of your spending or plan for the future. Yes, budgeting might seem boring, but it's the secret weapon of financially successful people. Pro tip: Use a free budgeting app or start with a simple spreadsheet. Track your income and expenses for 1 month. You'll be shocked at what you discover. Number 4, living only for today. You can't enjoy life if you're saving for retirement all the time. We get it. No one wants to pinch pennies until they're 70. But the truth is, ignoring your future completely is just as bad. The key is balance. You can enjoy life now while still preparing for what's ahead. Pro tip, create a budget that allocates money for fun today and investments for tomorrow. Number 5, expensive habits that drain your wallet. Think only the rich have expensive habits. Think again. Smoking, eating out frequently, or even buying coffee daily can cost you more than you realize. For example, smoking a pack of cigarettes daily costs over $200 a month. Eating out regularly can add up to hundreds of dollars you could save or invest. Pro tip: identify one costly habit and cut back. Redirect that money to savings or investments. Number 6, drowning in bad debt. Not all debt is created equal. Good debt, like a mortgage on a rental property, can help you grow wealth. But bad debt, like credit card bills for shopping sprees, drags you down. The worst part, bad debt often harder to pay off. Pro tip: avoid financing items you can't afford. Focus on paying off high-interest debt first. Number 7, spending money to impress others. Stop buying things you don't need to impress people you don't like. Ever felt pressured to buy something flashy just to show off? You're not alone. But here's the harsh truth: trying to look rich can leave you broke. Instead of spending money to impress others, focus on what truly matters: your financial security and peace of mind. Pro tip: remember, real wealth is quiet. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Number 8, they don't pay themselves first. One of the easiest ways to build wealth is often overlooked. Paying yourself first means setting aside money for savings and investments before you spend a dime. If you leave your savings for whatever's left, chances are there'll be nothing left. Automate your investments so you don't even have to think about it. Pro tip: start with 10% of your income and increase it as you can. Watch your wealth grow. Why people stay broke? The truth is, most people stay broke because of poor money habits, not lack of income. The good news: you can change your habits. Start today and your financial situation can improve faster than you think. Which of these mistakes hit home for you? Share in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're serious about turning your financial life around, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your financial freedom starts here. Let's make it happen.
From homeless to billionaire, the inspiring stories of hard work and success.
Some people achieve incredible success because they believe in themselves. They have an inner drive and a vision of what they can achieve, even when the odds seem impossible. These people are willing to invest their time and energy to improve themselves, learning, growing, and striving to reach their goals. When you combine determination with the right skills and mindset, you can achieve remarkable things. Today, I want to share 3 inspiring stories, 2 about women and 1 about a man who started with very little but accomplished extraordinary success. These stories carry powerful lessons about resilience, hard work, and the importance of focusing on what you can control. The first story is about a woman named Rose Blumkin, who arrived in Seattle in 1917 as an immigrant. She had no money, couldn't speak English, and had no formal education. All she had was a tag around her neck that read Fort Dodge, Iowa. The Red Cross helped her reach Fort Dodge, where she reunited with her husband, who had arrived in the United States a few years earlier. For 2 years, Rose struggled in Fort Dodge. She couldn't pick up the language and felt isolated. She described feeling like a dummy because she couldn't understand anyone. Determined to change her situation, Rose and her husband moved to Omaha, Nebraska in 1919. There, she found a small community of Russian Jews, which made her feel more at home. As her oldest daughter, Frances, started attending school, Rose began learning English through her daughter. Frances would teach her mother the words she learned each day, and Rose slowly picked up the language. For 20 years, Rose worked tirelessly. She sold used clothing and saved money, $50 at a time, to bring her family members to the United States. During this period, she also raised 4 children. By 1937, after 2 decades of hard work and saving, Rose had managed to put away $2,500, her life savings. That same year, she traveled to Chicago and purchased furniture to fulfill her dream of opening a furniture store. Rose Blumkin, who had never attended school and couldn't read or write, started a furniture business with that $2,500. She didn't have any unique or groundbreaking ideas about furniture. What set her apart was her relentless determination, an unparalleled work ethic, and a genuine commitment to her customers. She worked long hours, operated on slim profit margins, and built a reputation for trustworthiness and service. In 1983, I purchased her business for $60 million, and today it generates over $1.5 billion in annual sales. The 4th generation of her family is now involved in the business. Remarkably, no additional money was ever put into her company after that initial $2,500 investment. Rose worked for me until she was 103 years old. She retired then, and sadly, she passed away the following year. Her story is a testament to what hard work and perseverance can accomplish, even in the face of significant challenges. The second story is about another remarkable woman who also started a business with just $2,500. And she built her company a success that I paid hundreds of millions of dollars to acquire it. Like Rose, this woman didn't rely on advanced education, elaborate plans, or unique innovations. Instead, she worked with focus, determination, and an unwavering commitment to her dream. Stories like these inspire me to connect with and support people early in their journeys. I've learned that the right attitude and a willingness to work hard are far more valuable than money or initial resources. The third story is about a man named Jack Taylor. Jack was born in 1922 and grew up in the Midwest. He was a talented athlete, but didn't enjoy school and dropped out of college after just 1 year. In 1941, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Jack tried to join the Army Air Force, but was turned away due to hay fever. Determined to serve, he volunteered for the Navy instead and was accepted. Jack became a pilot during World War II, flying from aircraft carriers in the Pacific. He earned 2 distinguished flying crosses for his service. After the war, he returned to the Midwest, where he struggled to find his footing. He bounced between jobs before eventually becoming a used car salesman at a Cadillac dealership in St. Louis, Missouri. By the time Jack was 35 years old, he had climbed the ranks in the dealership's sales organization. He proposed a new idea to his boss, starting a car leasing business together. His boss agreed on one condition: Jack would have to cut his salary in half and invest $25,000, which Jack borrowed. With this, Jack started his first business, focusing on leasing 7 cars. It was a modest beginning. Jack was so determined to appear busy that he would let the phone ring several times before answering, even though it was often the only call of the day. His first venture wasn't a runaway success, but it taught him valuable lessons about business and customer service. At the age of 40, Jack pivoted. With just 17 cars, he decided to enter the rental car business, going up against industry giants like Hertz and Avis. He couldn't compete on the size of his fleet or airport locations, but he knew he could offer something better, friendlier, more personalized service. Jack named his company after the aircraft carrier he had flown from during the war, the USS Enterprise. Over time, his small rental car business grew into an empire. By the time Jack passed away, Enterprise Rent-A-Car was worth more than all its competitors combined. Today, his family continues to run the company, which was built on Jack's simple but powerful philosophy. These three stories share a common thread. None of these individuals had access to extraordinary resources or groundbreaking ideas. Instead, they focused on what they could control, working hard, treating people well, and providing excellent service. There's another lesson here. You don't have to get everything right the first time. Jack's initial car leasing business wasn't a massive success, but it gave him the experience he needed to excel later. Henry Ford, for example, failed twice before founding the Ford Motor Company in 1903. The real test is whether you keep learning and improving. The businesses that succeed are the ones that delight their customers. People may forget the price they paid, but they'll always remember how they were treated. Whether it's furniture, rental cars, or any other product, customers return to places where they've had positive experiences. As business owners, it's also essential to inspire and care for your employees. When your team feels valued and respected, they'll be motivated to pass that same care on to your customers. Surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you to be better, whether they're business partners, employees, or even your spouse. I admire all of you for your hard work and dedication to self-improvement. You've made a commitment to bettering yourselves and your businesses, and that's an incredible achievement. Keep focusing on your goals, delighting your customers, and learning from your experiences. I believe the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Top 5 Habits of Successful People. Have you ever wondered why some people achieve incredible success while others struggle to get by? Today we'll uncover the top 5 habits of successful people, the daily routines and mindsets that help them thrive. Stick around, because these habits could transform your life. Let's dive in. 1. Set daily goals and stay focused. Success doesn't happen by accident, it's planned. One thing successful people do is set clear goals every single day. Before they go to bed, they write down what they want to accomplish the next day. This isn't just about big goals like starting a business. It's also about small, actionable steps they can take right now. Why does this work? Because what you focus on grows. If you keep your mind on your goals, you'll naturally make better decisions and take actions that align with your dreams. Here's something to think about. Are you starting your day with a clear purpose? If not, it's like driving without a destination. You'll end up nowhere. So grab a notebook or an app and write down what you want to achieve tomorrow. It could be the first step toward the life you've always wanted. 2. Focus on important tasks first. Do you ever feel like you're busy but not getting much done? Successful people avoid this trap by prioritizing their tasks. They ask themselves one simple but powerful question: if I could only finish, have the biggest impact on my life.